everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I would like to introduce a very concrete tool that, when I learned about it, made a really significant difference in my life. Honestly, I talk about it so regularly that my relatives and my students will tell you that I talk their ear off with it. Nah, just kidding. They're all happy to hear about it. And I'll share it with you in this video. First, let me explain how this tool is divided in 4 quadrants, with a circle in the middle that represents us being able to self-observe from a distance in a non-judgmental way. The 4 quadrants shown here are a part of us all. I nicknamed this validate tool my inner compass. It helps us to increase our self-awareness and hear parts of ourselves say, oh, see, I'm stressed out, I'm angry, I have uncomfortable thoughts and sensations. And I tend to get away from these emotions with moves and action that keep me in a struggle mode. Versus other parts that say, okay, what really does matter to me? What do I want to prioritize? And how can I act on it in my day-to-day life using a set of chosen actions? This back and forth dialogue between different parts of ourselves is quite normal. This is not schizophrenia. I'm just kidding. However, to be consciously able to observe with self-distance and compassion, when the wind is howling in around us, can help us realign our actions towards what's really important for us and what we want to experience on the other side of the storm. This tool acts like a small integrated inner compass that helps to get back in line when we move away from what truly matters to us. Oops, I'm going north with cold and doubts, stress, and too much hard work or procrastination. Okay, I pick up my inner compass and I realign myself back to the southern path I wish to tread. First, let me explore with you these 4 quadrants one by one. I'll then give you a concrete example so that you can understand the workings of this system as a whole. I have also created a simple exercise which is inserted in the web platform. If you like, you will be able to download it at the end of this video and to create your own inner compass. When first using this tool, it can be useful to put it somewhere where you can easily see, in your agenda, on your locker or your desk. It will serve as a reminder that will help you to internalize the process. Let me start with the first lower left quadrant in the inner compass that illustrates all our uncomfortable stuff that we can experience when it comes to physical sensation, thoughts that keep going around and around, or the feelings, emotions that take up too much space in our minds. We all have our personal set of symptoms or warning signals. For example, when feeling stressed, anxious, sad, or tired, some of us will experience either a lump on their throat, palpitation in their chest, headaches, or tension in their shoulders. One of my students once told me in class, Jacinthe, when I feel powerless or irritated, my ears get red and I feel hot. These are our little warning signs, like a smoke alarm that goes on to tell us that there is something that needs to be expressed. So that's the sensations part. Now the part with the negative thought patterns, thoughts that go around and around in a vicious cycle, like I don't measure up, or I'll never get it right, or no one's like me. I should have done this or not done that. Why must it always be me? These thoughts indicate that we are stuck somewhere along the way and can't move forward. Thirdly, we have our frequent emotions that pop up when we feel that things are not going our way. For some, it's such as nervousness, anxiety, fear, or powerlessness. For others, it's more such as anger, impatience, irritation. So these three elements, sensations, thoughts, emotional and feelings, are our personal set of symptoms signaling something is wrong, that we're struggling. In my inner compass tool, we resume this quadrant as my uncomfortable stuff. Being able to acknowledge and welcome it as a legitimate part of us is already a huge step of self-compassion. We are humans, and all of this is totally normal, without any shame to have. Now, in the upper left part of my inner compass, shown right now on the screen, you'll see the quadrant of my away moves. Those are the kind of action that we will resort to counter the suffering that we are experiencing. How does this show up concretely? Well, some people will literally run away physically from it, with isolating themselves in their room or overly napping. Others will log on to Facebook and get lost in a virtual universe, or with video games or in-store shopping binge. Some will overeat or eat badly or do drugs to escape to a different reality. Others still will compulsively take up a series of household chores, sport trainings, or like me, will work until they drop. As shown in the left-centered part of my inner compass, with the stinking spiral that illustrates a vicious circle, the more we use these away moves mechanism to try to escape or fight our uncomfortable internal stuff, the more the painful series of sensation, thoughts, and emotion take up space in our lives. Please understand that avoidance and struggle behavior are so normal that some of them can even sometimes be appropriate unless they become overly used. One of my friends is a biologist who studies the Arctic foxes found on Baffin Island. And she tells me that every time they go up there to fit radio collars on the foxes to better understand the way they live, she observed two types of reaction in the foxes they capture. Some foxes play dead, stop moving completely, probably hoping that the researcher will eventually forget about them and so they can escape. The other foxes fight their energy in their body before surrendering to the inevitable. As human beings, we are not so different from foxes. In our internal makeup, in our innate reflexes, we, just like the foxes, will tend to either fight or to freeze when faced with something difficult in our life. The aim of this tool is to have us stop for a moment, place ourselves in the circle labeled my observer self, and look at what's going on inside of us. This circle represents the portion of our being able to look at things from afar without judging or commenting on, without being negative, just like if you were taking a Polaroid photography. Unlike animals, we have a frontal lobe in our brain that can help us training this helpful self-awareness mode. When in this role, I can tell myself, okay, I'm fighting what's happened. I've taken refuge in my work and I won't stop give myself a break. My whole body is tense. I'm stressed. That's when I remember to use my inner compass. And I ask myself, okay, that's normal. What really matters most to me? And then I'll look to the right of the tool, to the other two quadrants. I first look to my values quadrant. What matters the most to me in my life right now? What are my fundamental values that I want to prioritize? I gave 3 examples in the box to encourage you to name 3 things that matter to you particularly. Of course, these things may change along the way, and you may wish to update this quadrant every 6 months, or once a year, or whatsoever. In most cases, the 2 quadrants of the left of the tool will always remain pretty much the same. Your body, your mind will generally always react the same way to stress and discomfort in your life. The quadrants on the right, however, will shift in time depending on where you are in your period of life. That's why I'm suggesting that you choose 3 items in my values quadrant that are important to you right now. Yeah, I've recently updated my inner compass to better reflect what's going on in my life and in the world right now. As an example, I previously had chosen the 3 following values as priorities: lightness in my life, discovery, and more gentleness toward myself instead of being so self-demanding. But now I've decided to swap discovery for solidarity, because right now I feel that mutual assistance is essential in these odd times we're living through, and this is important to me. So I kept the other 2 values, however, because I feel they are still relevant and necessary to me, but I've changed one. So when you've identified these 3 values, these 3 directions that you wish to take with your compass, north, south, east, southeast, you can move on to the upper right corner of the tool and look at my committed action in view of your current values. As I told you before, I recently chosen solidarity as one of my 3 values. So with that in mind, what concrete and realistic action can I identify to help me move towards these values in my life, to act on it? Well, since my brother and sister-in-law both work in healthcare and are currently under pressure right now, I've chosen to occasionally babysit and to plan activities for cute Alice and Gebishu, their 2 children, to make things easier for them. Also, once a week, I've decided to take time to call or email a friend, a parent, more in need, and just to chat with them, inquire about them. These are 2 examples of concrete, observable, and measurable actions that I can take to fulfill the goal that I have set for myself and to embody the set of values I have chosen for myself. Also, for example, to fulfill my lightness and wellness goals, I will go play a game of Scrabble with my friend Josie, or I'll go for a long walk in the woods. That's the inner compass tool for you. These 4 quadrants help you to orient your life. When you realize that life's pressures are landing you into the lower left quadrant and then setting you into the upper left quadrant to escape or fight your feelings and sensations, just take a moment First, to be aware of it, and to position yourself in the circle in the middle, and to quietly, dispassionately look at what's going on. Centering yourself in that way will allow you to stop the little fox in you from struggling to escape its captors, and will allow you to look to what you really want from life. However, I'll be honest, for all of us, when we are struggling with this internal uncomfortable stuff in our lower left quadrant, it takes a lot of courage to take off, to unstick, and move on consciously towards our committed action in the upper right quadrant. That's why we call it the willing walk. One step at a time, with courage and without rushing anything, with compassion. Okay, so this is it for now. For those who are interested in using my inner compass, you can please click on the link below to download the version of this tool that you can fill in for yourself. Put it somewhere in your home where it will be really accessible in order to help you to internalize the tool. Over time, you'll see the more you use the inner compass, the more you will develop the various reflexes and behaviors associated with it. For example, in time, you will probably be able to take a step back and calmly look at your thoughts and action, rather than go belly slick and angrily ask yourself why you are again doing what you're doing. You will also be less inclined to judge yourself harshly. Life can be stressful, and needing to take a moment to center yourself is a perfect normal thing. And I'm also talking to myself at the time right now. Oh yes, one last thing. I have given you a list of behaviors that can be considered as away moves in the upper left quadrant. Some of you might disagree with this list and say something like, in my case, cleaning the house is not an avoidance mechanism. It helps me to think. That's a great comment. In such case, I would ask you to determine what exactly you get from doing this. Does cleaning the house give me a chance to sort out things, both to the concrete and emotional levels? Or is it just something that I do in order not to think about what's bothering me? If the answer is to the first question is yes, it's a committed action. If the answer to the second question is yes, then you're actively avoiding the problem or parting you. Sometimes, however, the answer is not so clear. For example, one of my students, a player in our college basketball team, told me that he enjoyed going to the gym to shoot some baskets to improve his skill, but also when he was struggling with something. When I asked him if this behavior helped him act on his value of improvement, or if it allowed him to escape his problem, to delay a serious talk with his girlfriend or an homework, he told me, a little bit of both. That was honest. I suggest him to take just a moment to look back calmly at what he was doing and why the next time he got the urge to go shoot basket, and then to determine in what quadrant his behavior belonged. This way, in time, he would be able to sort out his motives and to adjust his behavior accordingly. Do I go shoot to escape, or it helps me act on my improvement value? He's the only one who can answer that. So, I hope you have found this interesting, and that my inner compass tool will be so useful for you as well. I told you I could talk about it a lot. As I said also before, don't forget that you can download this tool by clicking on the link below. I've also provided a complete example of this tool to help you tailor your version according to your needs and your personality. So here's to the pleasure of meeting you soon in the next video, and have a great day!